Lately, we've seen a whole new generation of Quest 3 and 3S products, accessories for the headset, mostly spurned by the new 3S, but products that have probably been in development for years for the 3, still working for the 3S as well with a few minor alterations. The newest one today, well, yesterday now, just announced from BoboVR, they're making an ultra low price head strap for people who want that budget option. Their new BoboVR E3 head strap is an elite style head strap in contrast to their most popular design, which is more of a halo style. If you're unfamiliar with head straps, halo styles put the weight on top of your head, kind of like a hard hat, where elites just suck it into your face and really clench onto your entire head. Some people like that for active games, especially fitness style games, because they don't feel like it's ever gonna slip no matter how hard they move their head. And BoboVR already dropped an E3 Pro, which has their 10,000 mAh battery pack on the back. It's hot swappable, so it keeps the headset nice and charged, and you can switch batteries off basically for infinite battery life. Well, now they're dropping this super low priced at $29.99, although that is an early bird discount, basically available until the end of this month if you do want to pre-order this and get that discount price. But a couple quick disclaimers. I want to say, one, I'm only going off the news they've announced. I don't have this in hand so far, although I do have an E3 Pro. And two, I personally always recommend, unless you're using yours with a PC only, I always recommend a battery pack. But for people who want a really low price entry option, this E3 is looking like a good choice. Same design as the E3 Pro we've already tested, but with something really unusual for a lightweight battery-free battery pack. They are having counterweights, two 35-gram modular counterweights, so you can adjust the amount of weight on the back of the headset. If you've always dealt with a stock head strap, and this is totally foreign to you, you haven't watched many of our reviews, counterweights on the Quest are really helpful because the headset is front heavy, so if you have a weight on the back of your head, even though it adds more weight to your head overall, it pulls that weight back a little bit and makes it feel like you're not constantly having your face dragged down to the floor, which is really helpful in the design. Now, an interesting thing here though, this is significantly less weight than the current battery pack that they give you. If you were to buy an E3 Pro, you have pretty much the same head strap with 186-ish gram battery pack on the back, which is really lifting that headset up, keeping that weight off your face. So this one, you could go with just a small 35 grams or 70 grams, which is still a lot smaller than the battery pack itself. But for those of you who have currently used any regular elite strap, none of them come with counterweights without having a battery in the back. So it is still an innovative design and something new that I like. And what it looks like is this really is meant for the PCVR crowd though, because it even has this new cable management system on the side. It looks like it's meant more for PCVR cables rather than just the simple battery cables and such that people have. This is on its way to us, and I'll get you a full review as soon as it actually gets here. But if you're interested, you can get that early bird discount. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested in getting one now. It is a really low price, especially compared to BoboVR's other products, as they've kind of gone for the premium end of the accessory market. And it looks like with this strap, what BoboVR has also done before is they make these low price entry straps, and then you can convert them later on with a conversion kit to make it into the Pro that has the battery pack if you want to. That way you can kind of parcel up the cost in pieces or decide if you really need the battery pack or not. But I like that they continue trying to innovate, making new stuff with every product. They try and make something, even if sometimes it's features we don't need. Like I've mentioned, how that 3 battery dock they made, really you only need 2 batteries or even just 1 charging somewhere to have infinite playtime. But they keep trying to do it big, which is cool. But watch out, I'll have a review coming for you here in the next couple weeks, hopefully. One thing that's never popular on the Quest is when they take features away instead of adding them in. Recently, we talked about how they pulled away the achievements, and there was a group of people that really liked that achievements menu that showed all of theirs in one spot, and they made quite a stink when it disappeared. Well, this one might be even bigger, but Oculus Move. If you remember when they were kind of making the Quest into a fitness tracker, and they had this feature that would show how much you were exercising through all of your games and stuff, well, they are pulling it completely from the Quest. They sent out an email to developers and consumers, basically saying that Move will no longer be supported on the Meta Horizon mobile app and Meta Horizon OS starting on March 31st, explaining that Move relies on the legacy technology, which is limiting their ability to introduce new innovations for Quest users. This transition will allow us to deliver more advanced and exciting features to enhance the Quest experience. The discontinuation of Move will not affect any other fitness features, built-in individual apps, but your Move data will be deleted, including any data that you sync to the Meta Horizon mobile app. This could be a big blow to people who are using the Quest in different games as a fitness tracker. But for those of you unfamiliar, there's tons of fitness apps on the Quest, ones like Supernatural that have great trackers built in them. They even show your friends every week and how they're doing it and kind of pit you against them by giving you points and then clearing them out each week. But for people who like Pistol Whip and Beat Saber and Supernatural, all these different things, Oculus Move kind of allowed you to track your fitness through all you were doing on the headset instead of having to commit to just one fitness app at a time, especially when there's so many fitness apps and many of them get pretty repetitive if you're only using them. It's a little early to see the public's reaction, but there will probably be a bit of backlash, as there always is whenever any feature is taken away. Although I can't say I personally know anyone who was using the Oculus Move feature. Most people I knew were specifically using Supernatural or FitXR or one of the many others. But what do you think out there? Let me know. We talked about how free-to-play apps may be doing some damage to the Quest overall. Quest is seeing one of its highest spikes in sales this last year. So many people downloading the app, it Christmas time that it actually got to the top of the app charts. But with so many free-to-play games and so many young audiences getting the Quest for games like Gorilla Tag, it's now being reported that free-to-play apps are accounting for about 70% of time spent on the Quest. We talked already a few weeks ago about how Meta was telling their developers this may be something they need to think about and pivot towards more, and we've seen how Gorilla Tag has made millions of dollars focusing on a free game that monetizes in-app purchases instead. But now Meta Horizon devs directly accounting for 70% of time spent on the Quest is on free-to-play apps, which is a tough position to see the Quest in personally, because if you're someone who has spent much time in mobile apps, you kind of know what free-to-play leads to. And there's also been a lot of rumors this year that Meta is backing off on paid apps, backing off on supporting big developers who want to create more paid apps, potentially leading to the layoffs that we've seen throughout the industry. And then of course pushing more multiplayer game developers to make theirs free-to-play. Mannequin actually just announced that they're going to go free-to-play now on the Quest. And if you want to unlock all the full features, there will be a premium upgrade that costs $10, which is more like what the original game was, but you'll be able to play it completely free. Although the Quest 3S has brought back that really affordable price point for the Quest, a lot of people still are downloading as many free games as they can. As you can see with a game like Animal Company being free and pretty new, catching up to the total reviews that Beat Saber has in such a short amount of time. I can't say that I personally spend a lot of time in free-to-play apps outside of testing them and then talking to you all about them out there, but a lot of my top games still are games that were originally paid for and even have DLC, and I've even bought too many times in multiple versions on multiple headsets, but that's a discussion for another day. Although there are plenty of rumors that Meta may be backing off on their investment in paid content in VR, it does seem like they're still doubling down on Meta Horizon itself, or Horizon Worlds as it's now called, because the OS became Meta Horizon OS and all that blah blah blah. But basically they've announced they're putting another $50 million into the content fund, even as we're seeing all these VR studios struggling, laying off, closing studios. But that's $50 million more towards all of their creators that create for Horizon Worlds, the rooms that you see all over the store. The rooms even often look like they are their own games on the store, and then you click on it, you try to go to it, and it opens up Horizon Worlds. And there has been a lot of frustration from developers, as we covered, some who went on record and some who stayed anonymous on Upload VR, talking about how they're frustrated that it seems like the store is populated with either free games, Meta Horizon Worlds, and it's burying their paid apps. But if you are a Horizon Worlds creator or you're thinking about being one, that's good news, because there are creators who create worlds for Horizon Worlds and make some serious money doing it. I've met some of them who have went to the Meta Connect events, and some of them have even considered quitting their full-time jobs and just creating for Horizon Worlds, so I imagine it's pretty lucrative. We see the same kind of model though in other games. This isn't unique to Horizon. Rec Room does the same, revenue sharing with its creators that create worlds that more people go to. But it definitely has me hesitant and nervous about the future of VR, especially with Meta at the main wheel. But how are you feeling about the state of things right now? Are you new to it now that the 3S has come out? Did you get your first VR headset, or have you been in it since the OG days like I have, playing on Samsung Gear VR, Google Cardboard, original PSVR, all those old school headsets now? We've discussed how Meta is possibly shifting some of this money over to their AI glasses, as they're now basically calling them Meta Ray-Bans. And with that, they've revealed a next generation Araya glasses for their research and experimentation. The Araya Gen 2, which basically the company's only intending to release these to third-party researchers who are working on machine perception systems, AI, robotics. But this is not something consumer-based or focused at all. This is enterprise glasses that are packed with tons of different sensors, cameras, microphones, but still no sort of display inside of them, but with implications for a lot of future applications, from things like helping assist people who are blind to the collaborations that they've already done with companies like BMW. It's neat to see previews to the future of this, but so much of these types of glasses, like Meta's new Orions that are only for internal development, cost so much that it's probably nothing we would see any near time in the future for consumers, since the Orions, they say, cost them $10,000 per pair just to develop. But there's rumors that this year's Ray-Bans will be having at least some sort of heads-up display in them, so we'll keep you posted on that. And speaking of Ray-Bans, if you haven't kept up here closely on the channel, we are about to give away our first ever pair of Ray-Ban smart glasses. That giveaway does end tomorrow, so if you haven't entered in that already, there'll be a link in the comments and description down below. We also just hit 100K subscribers. Thanks to all of you. That's 100,000 people. And we're doing a big bundled up giveaway at Quest 3. A bunch of the companies that we like their accessories are partnering up, so they'll give away a full accessories bundle for you, so you'll get a Quest 3 and everything you could possibly need and want to play it. And that's another way of us coming back to say thank you so much for all your support over the years. It's been absolutely amazing. The things that we get to do as a channel are just huge, so thank you. Make sure you get entered in those. Along our hopes earlier mentioned of Meta not being the only headset in control of the VR market, there are now new claims again that Valve's DECKARD is actually coming this year at $1,200. Gabe Follower, a leaker who has been successful at announcing unannounced Valve projects before, including Counter-Strike 2 and Deadlock, says that several people have confirmed that they are aiming to release their new standalone wireless VR headset, the DECKARD, by the end of 2025. That also bringing some light to the fact that we were wondering for a long time if the DECKARD was going to be a wireless PC headset or a wireless standalone. And with some new renders, pictures, potentially the controllers, things that we'd already seen through Sadly It's Bradley, this brings hope that maybe Valve is going to get back in the game, although at a steep price. People have gotten pretty used to standalone headsets being cheap, as we've seen other headsets even trying with that $1,000 price range, really not finding a lot of success in the market. But for the dedicated VR fans, the ones who want the best experience, the most open markets, a lot of them still use Valve indexes even 6 years old. What do you think? Would you pay $1,200 for this? I hope this is right. I would love to see that price get under $1,000 somehow, but I would love to see Valve get back in. And speaking of prices that we hope to see lower, PSVR 2 is permanently cutting the price on their bundle by $150, taking a PSVR 2 that was typically $550 down to $400 for the bundle. We have seen sales before, so this isn't that ridiculously low of a price, but this means the permanent price will now be $400, meaning hopefully we can see some sales lower in that $300 price range for people who do want the PSVR 2 still. They do still seem to be adding more content, and it doesn't seem like Sony's completely given up on the PSVR 2, although I will say owning one, I barely get it out to play it, even though I do want to play it a lot more, but sometimes that cable is just enough to get in the way, or the boot process. But if you've been waiting, now might be the time at that price. A big week for news. There is some other stuff going on we'll try and cover here in the next week as well, but what's happening out there that has you excited? I'm about to take off for South by Southwest. That's the first time our channel will be going to check that out. There's also some other stuff potentially happening, and that's all thanks to all of you out there. So once again, thank you so much. Make sure you get entered in those giveaways down below before they end, and I'll see you in another reality.